The other thing that happened since the last time you and I spoke or had an opportunity to discuss it was that a wrestling legend passed away. Sabu passed away, a hardcore legend, ECW guy, did some stuff with WCW too. And Jim, I just wanted to ask you, did you get to know Sabu very well?
Not very well at all. Never worked with. Well, I did work with him a little bit, but
Hmm.
not didn't spend much time with him. But I knew I got to know him a little bit on the Comic Con wrestling convention circuit, and his wife and Deborah were friends, and we're not friends, but we're acquaintances, and always talked to each other. And when she passed away, his wife, he took it. It really had an effect on him. So he's like one of those guys I think that just followed the wife up to heaven.
Man, feel for the guy, and a lot of people were making a lot of him, at his last match, which was in Las Vegas over WrestleMania weekend. He worked, Jim. I was there for it, and he worked a very very physical match against Joey Janela. He was taking bumps that after one, I was like, well, the match is over. You can't get up after that bump. He got back up, finished the match. And I don't know, like a lot of people were trying to make a lot of it and say that, GCW, which is the promotion, had something to do with his passing. But I don't know. It's I think that he was still out making some towns in between then and when he passed away. So, it's a hard business, hard on your body, right?
It's a physical. Have they come up with the cause of death yet?
No, it hasn't been revealed as of this recording.
Yeah, I wonder what the cause of death was. Because I know he was heartbroken. He's been heartbroken after his wife passed.
Yeah.
And he's like Mick. I saw Mick in Oklahoma City, and Mick looks great. Lost a lot of weight, moving good. But they just sacrificed their bodies, jumping off shit. I
Man, some
jumped
of the
off the
bumps.
bottom rope a couple times.
Mick was infamously taking the Nestea plunge, which is where you're standing on the outside of the apron and you take a bump to the floor. And this is when Bill Watts was running WCW. So there were no mats on the floor either. So he's taking a bump from the apron down onto the floor in concrete. Brother, you don't get many of those. That'll take a few off your bump card.
Yeah, well, Mick, he goes, Hacksaw, a lot of people mistake me for you. And I'm like, geez, I hope not.
I'm still moving around all right, Mick. Come on.
And he's 12 years younger than me. But yeah, Mick and Sabu were known for sacrificing their bodies, man. And that's just not on the big shows. That's what the young guys that do that crazy stuff, they save it for the big show, save it for a pay-per-view. Sabu, Mick, they were doing house shows.
Yep, they put on some hard miles. And before we end it, I did want to ask too. Sabu's uncle was the Sheik, and a lot of people say that he was kind of the innovator of hardcore wrestling, the original Sheik. And I'm wondering, Jim, he was out of Detroit. Did you ever get to work with Sheik, or were you around him at
No,
all?
never met the man. No, I broke in. I always worked in the South. Broke in Dallas. Worked with Southwest in San Antonio with Joe Blanchard, Georgia Championship, Pensacola, Hawaii, and New York. Those are my territories.
Okay.
Never worked up north. Never worked in Oregon. Never worked for Gagne. Never over in Detroit.
Well, who knows, Jim? If you'd crossed paths with him, maybe you would have been one of these deathmatch guys, right?
No. Well, I don't know. Back in the day, brother. I mean, you look at me and Buzz Sawyer in those dog collar matches.
They were brutal.
They're as hardcore as any hardcore match. There, back in the day, the coal miners' glove matches. It was Mid-South.
Was it Barry Darso?
It was kind of hardcore before ECW. That's where you lost a bar fight, you got fired. That's where the fans. We were talking about fans hitting the ring. Back then, I told you I was a heel. I'm in Sam Houston Coliseum. I'm beating the hell out of Ricky Morton. All of a sudden, I get hit in the back of the head. I turn around as a big, tall, skinny cowboy. I'm like,
Gotcha.
So I start working on him. Security, they got him. They're trying to pull him out of the ring. I'm at the Sam Houston Coliseum. I'm a bad guy. I'm like, no. He's with me. I'm like a lion pulling him back in the cage, man. Shit starts flying in the ring. You don't see that, but chairs come flying in the ring. A wrestling riot back in the day, but you're having a good match.
Yeah, man, you're doing something right if you can get the fans that worked up. Boy, picturing you, Jim, as a deathmatch guy, I couldn't really picture it, but now that you're saying it, you were kind of doing that stuff in Mid South. Some really
Mid-South
nasty,
was,
bitchy
yeah,
stuff.
wide open. Yeah, that was, they had some live stuff down there. They sure did. And that's why it was such a popular territory, and plus you learned your trade. You'd wrestle 9 times a week, every week, 9 times, 9 times, 9 times. Because you double shot on Saturday, double shot on Sunday, and you would do an individual interview for every city. You wouldn't do one generic interview. So you learned how to talk on the mic. You learned how to wrestle. You learned how to travel. You learned different gimmicks. A lot of
Mhm.
Hall of Fame guys came out of Mid South.
Man, you guys were getting your reps back in those days.
Yeah, but
Nowadays,
we're
the
all a
indie
bunch of young guys. You have 3 or 4 guys in the car. Hey, how about if I try this and you do that? Yeah, that sounds good. Hey, the strip joint. Ah!
It was the Wild West, that's for damn sure.